John Beefy Biggums. Played college ball at South Carolina, was an offensive lineman for the Gamecocks, was a head coach in high school down in South Carolina, and he is now making his way up to the college ranks. Hey, how's it going, guys? And welcome to my NCAA14 Dynasty. We've got Coach John Beefy Biggums. You can definitely see where he got the Beefy nickname from. Look at that, man. And we'll be going through his journey as a coach in college football. We'll be starting out as an offensive coordinator and hopefully ending up as a head coach somewhere and give ourselves multiple opportunities to win some national championships. John Beefy Biggums has had 7 schools offer him positions. Those schools being Arkansas State, Kansas, Southern Mississippi, Akron, Buffalo, Northern Illinois, and Old Dominion. Beefy Biggums likes a challenge. He's not going to jump straight into a Power 5 school or a powerhouse school like in Alabama or Georgia. He wants to start at the bottom and work his way up. Beefy Biggums will have a decision to make very shortly, but for now, let's go over what he'll be running offensively. We'll be going for an air raid style offense. I feel like I play best when I'm throwing the football, but I also do like running the ball a little bit as well, so I'm definitely like 70% pass, 30% run. We'll be starting at level 1, and it'll be on Heisman difficulty. We'll be doing 8-minute quarters, so the same as the Oklahoma City Bison's franchise, and we're turning the minimum player speed threshold down to 15. If I feel like the game is a little bit too easy, I'll adjust the sliders, but I'm very new to college football. I've been an NFL fan for about 5 years now, but I only recently got into college football this past season. I also haven't played a lot of NCAA14, and I've heard it's a different beast in Madden. It's a very different style game. But I'm looking forward to this. I will make sure that all the conferences are correctly aligned before we jump into it. So I went through, made sure every school's in the correct conference. I believe I've got everything right. If I don't, I can always change it next season, but I'm like 99.9% sure I've got everything correct. The school that Beefy Biggums has decided to take as his offensive coordinator job, his first job in college football, we've chosen the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. I feel like this is a really good opportunity to grow with some of the players. They've got a lot of really young players. If we quickly go over the roster, they've got 2 freshman quarterbacks in Jake Lange and Ty Keys. I believe I pronounced the first name right. I'm not sure though. And Trey Lowe, the third, is a sophomore. Running back, we've got Frank Gore Jr. I'm really excited to play with Frank Gore Jr. And they've got some other freshman red shirts as well. They're all freshmen. Every single running back's a freshman. The wide receivers, they've got a lot of Ike Juniors. They've got 1 sophomore and 1 freshman, but potentially some fun players to play with. At tight end, they've got a senior, Grayson Gunter, and then a freshman, Luke Baker. Left tackle, they got a junior in Tykeem Doss, and then a sophomore in Bryson Mays. Left guard, freshman in Jaquan Scott, and then a sophomore in Cameron King. Center, they've got a senior in Arvin Fletcher, and then Coker Wright is a sophomore center. Right guard, senior Bryce Foxworth, sophomore John Bolding will back him up. And then right tackle, senior Khalid Washington with junior Paul Gaynor Jr. That was a tongue twister a little bit. I thought I misspoke for a second there. He'll be backing him up. Defensive end, they've got a sophomore Avery Habas as the starting left end, with Mike Please Jr. and Dominique Kawan backing him up, I should say. Mike Please will probably redshirt. Right end, we've got senior Eric Kitchen with Josh Ratcliffe, the sophomore, backing him up. Defensive tackle, junior Taj Sykes and Deshaun Crawford, the senior, will be the starting defensive tackles, with Andrew Cole backing them up. Left outside linebacker, Josh Carr Jr., the junior, and then Everett Cunningham, the senior, will be backing him up. At middle linebacker, we've got Hayes Maples, the sophomore, with freshman TQ Newsom as the other middle linebacker. Right outside linebacker, junior Santrell Latham will be starting, with senior Swayze Bozeman backing him up. Corners are not amazing. This is definitely a position that we're going to need to look to upgrade for sure. I plan on being at Southern Miss for a couple of years unless we get like a very, very, very good offer after the first year or 2. They got Raekwon Mitchell, the senior, Eric Scott, the junior, Tron Brooks, the junior, and Brandon Tolles, the freshman. He will get significant playing time, I feel. Free safety, Jay Stanley, the sophomore, will be starting, with junior Lakevius Daniel backing him up. And then at strong safety, we got Malik Shorts, the sophomore, with the junior Tyreek Moody backing him up, and Cameron Harrell, the junior, backing him up. Kicker, we got Briggs Borgwos. I feel like I butchered the shit out of that. He's a junior. And then at punter, we've got Mason Hunt, the junior. I wish his name was Mike Hunt. That'd have been so much better. But yeah, if we go through and have a quick look at these positions, I think I'm definitely going to be starting Ty Keys. 1,000,000%, that'll be the guy I'll be starting. So we're going to definitely redshirt T. Webb. There's no need to have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I can definitely run with Ty Keys, Jake Lange, and Trey Lowe III. At running back, we will definitely redshirt TJ Pope. I don't see the point in not doing that. We got enough running backs as it is. Wide receiver, I might redshirt Chandler Pittman. We will redshirt Chandler Pittman. We got enough wide receivers above him, and I feel like we're not going to get much playing time out of him. So I'd rather keep a year of eligibility. There's a world where we might start Luke Baker, but otherwise we'll be running with these two. Left tackle, we're going to redshirt Peyton McKinnon, and we will also redshirt Stephon Ward. We will actually redshirt Coker Wright because he's a sophomore. We could get a couple years out of him. A 72 overall. He'd be a decent starter next year if we can't bring someone in. Also going to do the same thing with John Bolding. I feel like we've got enough backups where we can afford to redshirt some of these guys. And then at right tackle, I will be redshirting Michael McLeod. Going to redshirt Mike Police Jr. And we'll also redshirt Kristen Booth. Not going to bother redshirting anyone on the defensive tackles. Same with left outside linebacker. No one to redshirt middle linebacker. Right outside, we're not going to bother either. Corner, we will redshirt Vincent Brown. We will redshirt Jay Jones. He actually looks like a very good safety. So he's so fast. 87 speed, 91 agility, 91 excel. He's going to be a fun player for years to come. Taking a look at the schedule, we've got Texas State, Nebraska, and Arkansas to open up. Then we've got a bye week, then Boise, Charlotte, bye week, Rice, North Texas, Marshall, Louisiana Tech, UTSA, UTEP, and UAB. Only change I'm going to make is we're going to open the season against 19 Penn State. We will play at Penn State. I don't know, I think it'd be fun to play my favorite team. We're going to start with 4 road games to start. Wow, that's going to be tough. Looking at the position needs, we need a middle linebacker, an outside linebacker, a D tackle, a center, and a tight end. As some players for the recruiting board, the problem is right now, I don't have the full scouting, so we only get players 15% scouted, but we can still go through and do that. This guy's already dropped 2 overalls. That's not a good sign. This guy jumped 3 overalls. That's actually pretty good, so hopefully he can keep rising the more and more we scout him. This tight end jumped 2 overalls. He still is only a 57 overall, but let's hope he can keep rising. I went through and did all the scouting. Not a whole lot to show, but to be honest, I can only get 15% scouted anyway, so it's not going to show much. I'm really excited to start this series. First week, we've got Penn State, at Beaver Stadium. But that's going to wrap up this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.